Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:01. It is 70 degrees out right now. Forget about it. It's amazing.
Forget about
It's
it.
amazing.
What does that mean?
Why am
What does that mean?
Had my coat on when I walked out the door, opened the door back up, threw the coat back inside. I don't need a coat today.
Smacked Harper in the face with it.
Nah,
Forget about it.
she was out of the range. Forget about it. So we have a lot for you to explain right now. So listen very carefully as we go slow here at 6:01. Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Because Andy in Buffalo Grove checked in instantly and said, "What's this I hear about Jack White at the Metro tonight?" You are right. You are right, Andy from
Bada
Buffalo
bing.
Grove.
Forget about it.
That's
He's at the Metro tonight.
Yeah,
forget about it.
Everybody from Buffalo Grove, forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right? Forget about it. Jack White at the Metro, Buffalo Grove. Come on now. So this is what's happening. In an hour, starting at 7 a.m., we will play, and I mean a short clip of a Jack White song. Could be any of his bands, anything he's done. And you're going to have to collect these all morning long, starting at 7. So at 7, 7:30. And we'll tell you when it's coming. We'll make it very clear. Coming up after the next song, the Jack White clip is coming. Listen for it in 3 minutes. We'll do that very clearly so you'll know what's going on. And you have to figure out what song it is. So you collect them. It's kind of like Pokemon Go in a way.
Yes.
The audio version.
Yes.
You just piqued some ears.
Oh, somebody's all of a sudden just dead asleep right now.
Yeah.
And they just popped up in their
Rolls out
bed.
there like Michael Myers when he gets up by.
I was gonna say.
He's still understand it in a few days.
I can't wait.
I know.
I was gonna say like the Undertaker meme.
Oh,
He was
yes.
like, "Prong."
As they say, some might say, Pokemon, go to the Jack White show tonight.
Hello.
Some say that. So 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, the first clip of a Jack White song. 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30. So there's going to be 6 of them. And then at 9:30, after we give that last one, we'll ask you to call up. And somebody that can give all of them in order of the songs that we played, you are going to Jack White tonight, the sold-out show in the Metro. It sold out in about 60 seconds yesterday, obviously. So that you'll be there. And that's the only way to get in. This is literally the only way to get into Jack White at the Metro. You'll never see him again at the Metro. He played there 6 years ago for a Lala after show.
Yeah.
Of course, a veteran of Q101's Twisted Christmas and a lounge. He has an incredible lounge performance on our YouTube channel.
Listen, you want to see him there again? Forget about it.
Forget
It's not
about
gonna
it.
happen.
Forget about it. It's the only way, baby.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. And this involves being hangry. So there's hungry. There's, I could eat.
Okay.
And then there's hangry.
Amen.
And hangry is actually a scientific event that happens in your body.
Okay.
We're going to explain the whole science behind hangry in the fact today that makes your brain go. Because I just thought it was being hungry and then waiting an extra half hour and then you're hangry. All of a sudden, like, no, it's not. It's completely different. There's a reason and science behind hangry.
I feel like that happens to me like almost every day, though.
Yeah.
Is that possible based on the science?
We'll get to that in the fact here. But what do you think causes hangry over hungry? Is there something that you think in your body or something that you do or something goes on?
I think it's when you're hungry, but then your kids start complaining about a bunch of stuff, and you're like, I can't deal with it.
So I guess stress levels, you're saying it creates
like
hangry?
when things are like spiking, and you're like, I can't handle any of this until I have a burrito. And I say that almost every day around 11.
Well, why don't you get a burrito every day around
Like,
11?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone buckle up for a minute, okay?
As I've stated on the show, I recommend the California burrito, which I just discovered recently, which means they shove potatoes in the burrito.
That's living.
Fantastic.
So good.
Okay, Santa.
Okay.
We'll get a burrito.
God, I really did become Santa there for
You
a second.
really did.
Case, what do you think the difference is between like hungry and hangry?
I think hangry happens when you're trapped. When you're in a car and you're in traffic and you know you need to eat, but you're not going to be able to eat. Food becomes not an option for a short period of time, that is when things escalate to a hangry level.
I asked the listeners this. Are you like us? That when traffic stops, that's when you feel like I'm going to die of starvation. Even if you're not hungry, that's when hangry kicks in, because it's okay when the cars are moving a little slow. But when it stops, you're like, how am I going to eat?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think
When is this ever
of.
going to end? I'm stuck here now. This is my life.
This is
So
it.
your first reaction is, I'm stuck here forever.
I'm stuck here forever, and how do like I'm in The Walking Dead, and I have to figure out killing my food and maybe
So
eating.
you start looking around at like who's gonna be easy to kill in one of these cars.
Damn right.
Okay.
Damn right.
Brian, when traffic stops, do you start thinking about the last thing that you had, and then you have regrets if like, oh man, my last meal was a salad. What a waste of life this
Why
was.
would I diet? I've never dieted. Why would I do it now?
I think of why I always didn't get seconds. If I could have got seconds, I'd be good right now.
Oh,
but,
you'd be happy.
but now I'm hangry. We're going to get to the science of hangry next and how you can avoid it.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, time for a fact that makes your brain go. And it involves the science of hangry. Not hungry, not, yeah, I could eat. Hangry. We all know that feeling. As Kenzie said, every day at 11, she wants a burrito.
Oh.
And I say, get a burrito.
Amen.
Do what makes you happy.
Amen.
That's what I say.
Live Moss, as I always say.
Carpe diem.
So you gotta be careful with that, because then I'll be like, might as well go home till later. Actually, what makes me happy is
Kenzie, I've told you, you need time to sit alone in a parking lot every day.
Okay, so
Just
that to be a
sit
lot.
in that car and be in that parking lot.
Yeah.
my baby's in this stage where no matter how happy he is, when he sees me, he screams bloody murder and throws himself on the floor.
Sounds like love to me.
I know. I'm like, okay, this is a toxic relationship. It's not okay.
So Kenzie thinks it's when you are stressed out for some reason, your food time is disrupted by obviously a baby or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody gives you a call or whatever. And that's when hangry kicks in. Case thinks, I forgot why you think it is.
When you're trapped,
When you're trapped in your car, for example, right now in the Stevenson, you're delayed and you had this plan to get food and it's not happening, and your body panics in a way. And Case is kind of on the right path on this. So what happens with hangry, which is the difference from hungry, is a massive blood sugar drop. So when you're hungry, your stomach sends texts to your brain saying, hey, how about some food? Sounds like a good
Snacky
idea, right?
snack.
Feed me. And when you don't respond fast enough, the texts get more frequent from your stomach to your brain saying, hello? You know, when people don't answer a text, you're sitting there waiting. You see the dots, but then nothing happens.
they go like, oh, sorry, I didn't have my phone on me.
Oh, the biggest lie ever.
Everybody has their phone on them always.
It's such a lie. And then when you don't eat, your blood sugar crashes. And that produces the stress hormone, which relates to Kenzie's point, is a stress hormone called cortisol. And when you're hungry, it also makes you feel basically that less feel-good hormone of serotonin, which is part of the good when you eat that comes through your body. So 90% of that is produced in your gut, serotonin, which you've heard of that probably.
Oh, yeah.
That's the feel-good hormone. So
That's that good.
cortisol takes over and says, F you, serotonin, I'm hangry, and takes over. And that's how hangry happens. So always have, basically, to Case's point, have a snack in your car.
Oh,
Have something. You take the longest drive, Kenzie. You have a snack in your car always?
don't.
You don't have like beef jerky or something?
I don't.
You need
That's
to
why
do.
I get so hungry. The worst is when, like, I'm driving home and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I've been driving for a while. I probably have like an hour left just to focus. And then there's a car accident. And I understand that person's probably having a worse day than me. But then I feel like I'm having the second worst day
Yeah.
because now I'm stuck here.
Yeah, right after the hospital visit. That's it.
Come on.
Now here's the dumb things they recommend, scientists. Crunchy vegetables. Have those ready to go. That will stop hangry and get you back to just kind of hungry.
Yeah, but it'll make Brian just angry in general.
Right, unless I can dip it in something like buffalo sauce. Chickpeas are good. Greek yogurt, berries, and almonds. Those are the best things to have. You can always have almonds in your car because they won't spoil. You get a bag of nuts.
Okay, I will not. I could be on the brink of death. I'm not going to eat a bag of almonds.
I'm with
Really?
you, Kenzie.
Ugh.
Almonds are kind of like cardboard, but nuts in general, when you chew almonds, it's kind of like you're eating cardboard.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sucks. Except for those flavored ones, which are not healthy, but they're awesome. What is it, the
Well, if
blue?
I pass one of those nuts guys who makes them like the cinnamon sugar one, that's
Yeah.
different. If I pass a cart,
What's that brand? Blue
Blue nuts?
I know. Well, Blue Ribbon's the ice cream.
Blue Diamond.
Right? Or
Oh, Blue Diamond
Blue
almonds.
Diamond
Oh,
almonds.
The Rolls
Well, you know
Royce
what
of
I'm talking
almonds.
about, like the warm nut guys. You know what I'm saying? To make
Yes.
this like then I would have it.
Yeah. Warm nuts.
Yeah, that's why I like them.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Remember, coming up at 7, we have your chance to go to Jack White at the Metro tonight. We will explain it because it's a little tricky, but we'll explain how you can win coming up here in just a few minutes. We're 20 minutes from 7 right now because first, before we move forward, we have to pour one out for something iconic in Chicago. Very sad. This one's going to hit a lot of you in that hangry stomach. Mm-hmm. And it's very sad because people lost their jobs over this one. The very last Pepsi plant in Chicago has closed. The last Pepsi plant in Chicago is closed. Now,
Stop it.
This is like me as a Cubs fan talking about the White Sox. I'm a Coke guy talking about Pepsi here. I understand the history of Pepsi in Chicago and how big it is. You know, no Coke, Pepsi. I understand that. I lived it. I'm a Coke guy. However, Pepsi workers in Chicago out of a job after the company announced immediate closure of the only plant left in the city on Monday. All Pepsi employees, including a guy in the story here, it comes from USA Today, 55-year-old Daryl Smith, was informed at 5:45 a.m., the same time the Teamsters Local 727 received the written notice from Pepsi attorneys. Smith noticed a high presence of security on site, but didn't think much of it. He was called back into work at about 5:45. As I walked through the door, I asked them, what's going on? Are they about to shut down the plant? And put her head down, the person he was talking to, and they said, yeah, it's an old plant. It has a lot of work that needs to be done, and they weren't going to put any money into it.
Oh.
As of today, the plant was shut down. Now, I got to think Pepsi's doing okay. I don't know why they can't fix up the plant in back of the yards.
I don't think Pepsi's like going through it.
I don't think
Right?
so. I think Coke is leading right now, but Pepsi's got to be number 2. I might be wrong on that. I just thought Coke was leading.
I do. I have to be honest. I'm sorry. I prefer. I grew up in a Coke household. It is what it is. I prefer it.
I grew up in a Pepsi household.
Did you?
My dad loved Pepsi. We always had Pepsi, and I just drank it because I was afraid to say I want Coke. But once I became an adult,
You manned up. You had some balls. Yeah.
I'm alone now. I pay rent
Okay,
on my
I want
own
that
place.
Coke.
I'm getting Coke. And
I can notice now, like drinking Coke my whole life, Pepsi is so much sweeter the second I taste it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, which I don't enjoy. I'm sorry. I don't want anyone
don't
mad at me.
apologize. It's a choice. It's what you
Yeah.
like.
But I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you have Pepsi? I'm not going to drink that. I'm not on that level. I would just take a Coke over a Pepsi.
You've never slammed your door in someone's face over Pepsi, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not like, you're a whore. How could you do that?
Are you sure you never said that?
That is such a good point. The amount of times, because I'm, a soda fiend. So when I go to restaurants, that's what I order. And I'll generically ask for a Coke. The fear that is in the waiter's eyes when they say, oh, we have Pepsi. Is that okay? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm from a Pepsi household. It's okay.
It is a very apologetic host of you there when they say that. I'm sorry. We only have Pepsi or we only have Coke. Fine. Just bring me soda.
Yeah, it's fine.
A lot of times it's RC.
It is.
And you don't even know if it's Coke or Pepsi. RC leans.
I like RC, actually.
It leans toward a Pepsi-ish. It's a combo kind of them, but it's a little sweeter, I think. I think
it's sweeter than Coke, but I still think Pepsi is the sweetest.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
is.
that way.
It is.
That's what my taste buds say to me.
It does depend on the receptacle, though.
Yeah.
If you're getting a fountain version,
Yeah.
see, a fountain Coke hits. Mm-hmm. That burn in the back of your throat is so good.
I like a good sizzle.
Yeah.
There we go.
But I like...
And we know the McDonald's Coke, the cold filtered, is the best on earth.
Oh, without a doubt.
They cold filter their Coke. That's why it's different.
Well, I'll tell you, when I'm out and about and there's a Dr. Pepper option, you want to talk about a sizzle. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at.
I think the ranking of soda, it would go Fountain Coke, it would go Pepsi can, and it would go Mountain Dew from the bottle. I think those are the top 3. I don't want Pepsi in the 20-ounce plastic bottle. That does nothing for me. But Pepsi from a can has a nice, crisp taste to it. It reminds me of going to my garage as a kid. We didn't have the Pepsi in the fridge. We kept it in the garage where it was naturally man-made, naturally cold.
Aged properly.
Aged like fine wine. You'd go in there, crack one open. All right, dinner served, baby. Let's go. I got my can of blue. I'm ready to go.
Under no circumstance am I having a room temperature soda.
Oh, that's how I like my soda.
That's repulsive.
So I have a 12-pack of Pepsi in my house right now, like cans, and they're just on the counter. I don't have them in the fridge. I don't want anything.
Red flag.
I like room temperature
Do
stuff.
you murder people too?
It's a hobby of mine.
I know,
It's
I
more of
can
a
tell.
passion project.
I don't mean the back case a little bit on this, but
Thank you.
it's a mood thing for me. I want it cold sometimes, but sometimes I would like a room temperature Coke. I just go in the closet there, my Apocalypse closet from Costco, where I have 17 cases of Coke Zero, and open one up and crack
You know
it.
what the best is for me, because I cannot do this room temperature action? The best is my fridge in the winter that's in the garage that's not a winter fridge, so it doesn't work properly. It's just a really old fridge. It gets the drinks a little slushy.
Oh, like it's freezing them, you mean?
Yeah, it freezes just a little bit, so as you're drinking it, every once in a while you're like, oh, 7-Eleven slushy. Like halfway
Yeah.
through. That is perfection. I love it.
I don't know why my fridge has been doing that, where I put them in the back of the fridge, and they're is it colder in the back of the fridge? I don't know.
It's like the other side of the pillow.
Yeah, and some of the cans are coming out slushy for some reason. I don't know if I got to turn it down, but I like everything cold.
I like that little slush. Be careful, the cans explode though sometimes, because I found that out.
Yeah,
They don't like to be that cold.
yeah. You know, you can
It's
join this conversation, obviously, and some people are bringing up cherry Pepsi.
That's solid. That's a good drink right there.
Don't get me started when I use, what do they call the machine in Five Guys that you can choose the buttons of?
Oh, the Coke Freestyle?
Oh, I love that.
Okay, love it. However,
it.
if someone gets a Coke Zero before me and a little bit of that squirt gets in my regular Coke, I'm livid. I
You
want.
can't tell in a whole cup. What are you, the Princess of the Pea? Are you weirdo?
No, I saw someone get a cherry Coke before me, and when I drank my Coke, it tasted a little cherry-y, and I don't
little
like
bit cherry?
that. I don't like that. No,
Well, it's a splash.
I don't want to splash a cherry.
Oh my God, the temper tantrum.
No kidding.
I just want my
Sounds like
straight
there's the cup
Coke.
at the wall.
I don't want it.
Speaking of Pepsi, I do have some breaking Pepsi news. This was broken yesterday on the Snackalator Twitter account, which keeps me up to date on all my snack foods.
Excuse me. Snackalator?
It's at Snackalator, tremendous account, keeps me up to date with all of the latest trends
Well,
in
what does
fast
that
food.
mean? Like, what keeps you updated on your food? Like where it is?
No, not my food specifically, just the food game in general.
I just imagine like food being treated like they have paparazzi, like Twix
a little
spotted
bit.
in Cancun.
a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Before you answer, how do you spell Snackalator? Because I'm trying to find that Twitter
great
account.
question, Brian. It is SNACK
Yep.
OLATOR.
That's where I messed up.
I
Okay.
was so ready for the Nate Bargatze skit when they're like, "Could you spell Fahrenheit?" He goes, "Impossible."
All right, I just gave it a follow, and
Yes.
there you go.
It's a great account, but they announced yesterday that coming in January, for those that are super into cherry Pepsi, you have good news. In January, Pepsi's going to release wild cherry and cream Pepsi in both regular and zero sugar flavor. So we have a whole
Hell
new
yeah!
variety. I know. That's good stuff, baby.
Okay. Well, it's not going to be made at that plant and back in the yards. It just closed, sadly.
Oh, rub it in, why don't you?
Well,
I bet those employees would have loved that drink.
I don't get it. How did Pepsi not invest in this plant in Chicago when Pepsi and Chicago have a history that's ridiculous? That's one thing I don't like about Costco. The only thing I don't like about Costco is they have Pepsi in the food court instead of Coke.
Oh.
And, you know, they have other options, obviously.
I mean, what you just said was very contradictory. Like, how could Pepsi not invest in this location? Also, I hate Costco because they have Pepsi. It's very messy.
How dare you? I don't hate Costco.
But you know what I'm saying?
It's the one thing I don't like about it is they have Pepsi. And I understand. I get it. There's probably more Chicagoans.
Choices have to be made.
Can't they give me? Costco gives you everything. Why can't they give me Pepsi and Coke? Why can't you make a double deal?
I don't know why they
can't
can't
you-
make a. If anybody can make a double deal, it should be Costco.
It's 2024. Why can't we have Pepsi
Why
and
can't
Coke
they coexist at the same place?
at
Grow
restaurants?
up, you two.
Seriously,
Be in the same place at the same time.
what is going on? Where are we?
You should be embarrassed.
Good Lord.
Ugh, so immature.
Yeah. Fighting for territory, I guess.
Well, I mean, you know, Gavin Rossdale and Gwen Stefani can be in the same place, but Coke and Pepsi can't?
Wow.
Come on.
That's a great point.
Come on.
What a great point.
Thank you.
Well,
Grow up.
listen, this conversation has been fun, but we do feel for those people that walked into work in the plant down there, the last Pepsi plant in Chicago. and they found out it was closing because they didn't, quote, want to bring it up to date because it needed a lot of work. And this is just terrible for those people that walked in there and delivered Pepsi
Also,
to people that love it.
how long has it needed a lot of work? What are these people walking and like the ceilings falling on them?
I picture them walking like in a haunted house.
Yeah.
To go to work.
And like they finally are like, oh my gosh, they're gonna fix it. It's like we're just gonna close it. I know you've
Yeah.
been dealing with this for years.
And by the way, I don't want to necessarily slander Pepsi in this because it could be an individual owner of a plant, and I don't know who owns that plant. And they're an affiliate of Pepsi, whatever. That's where they do it. I don't know who's responsible, but I really feel bad for those employees that lost their
Me
jobs,
too.
and it's terrible. And even though I like Coke.
Even though I like Coke.
It's
You
Friday-
are part of the problem.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So coming up here in just 4 minutes, we'll explain to you how you can get to Jack White tonight at the Metro. First, it's Gil Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. Today is National Cat Day. A survey found that 20% of people have hosted a holiday or birthday party for their cat. The other 80% haven't given up on life. The Statue of Liberty turned 138 yesterday. It's been restored multiple times, including an extensive restoration in the 1980s. Just like Cher. And Spider-Man 4 starts filming next year. Tom Holland says it's going to be crazy. You know what would be really crazy? Hollywood coming up with an original idea. This is not headline news.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.